today's lesson, we'll be talking about the nature of business activity. We will cover some major concepts. We'll start with the question, what is a business? Then we'll be talking about factors of production, business functions, and the sectors of industry. All right, let's start with the question, what is a business? Business is any organization that produces goods and services demanded by the consumers. We will be talking about the market economy and capitalism. All the rules, all the concepts that we're going to mention will be valid within the frames of capitalism and the market economy. In the market economy, we have two major sides, supply and demand. Supply will be the producers because they supply, they produce, and they provide goods and services. The demand will be the consumers because we produce the goods and services that are actually demanded by the consumers. The people are actually willing and able to produce. When we say demand, we don't mean the desire to buy that product only. And we don't mean the ability to buy that product only. We mean both. So when we say demand, we mean the people that have the ability to buy. When we say ability, we mean financial capability, like they have the money in their pocket to buy that product. And they are willing to buy that product. In this case, we have the demand. Imagine you have a lot of money, you have enough money to buy a helicopter, but you are not willing to buy the helicopter, right? So in this case, you don't have the demand for the helicopter. Or you want to buy a very expensive car, you really want it, but you don't have the money. In this case, you don't have the demand. Demand will exist only in case you have money and ability. So ability, we mean money in the pocket, like financial capability. Okay, so a business, what is a business? A business is any organization that provides goods and services demanded by the consumers, which means people have the money, people have the desire to buy those goods and services, and the producers, the companies, do provide those goods and services. So any business will be any organization providing goods and services for the consumers. Okay, what goods and services do we have? We will be talking about the consumer goods, the producer goods, and the consumer services. So what is a consumer good? What is a producer good first? The consumer good, I want to say will be consumed, but whatever is being produced, what type of good it is produced for the consumption purpose. Whatever on earth is being produced is produced for consumption, either for today, for tomorrow, or maybe decades later or centuries later. But one day those goods will be produced, either by you or by somebody else. In one way or another, they will be consumed. But if this good is going to be used as a part of production process in the future, that will be the producer good. If this good is being used for immediate consumption, this is the consumer good. Example, I go to McDonald's and I buy burgers, I eat them. So this is the consumer good. Or I buy a car, I drive that car. I buy a car, I keep it for 10 years. After 10 years, I start driving that car. This is still the consumer good. I buy that car, I don't drive it myself. I give it to my friend to drive. This is still the consumer good. The producer good is any good that is bought for being used in the production process. Let's say you are producing cars, and to produce cars you need some tools, you need some equipment, you need some machinery, and there are some companies some factories that actually produce these tools, equipments, machinery, etc. So when you buy those goods that you need to use for producing cars, those goods will be the producer goods. The good that will be used in the production process will be the producer good. The good that is used for immediate consumption, that will be the consumer good. What is the service? Goods are tangible, whatever we can touch, see, feel in one way or another. Let's say the car is the consumer good. The car is the good. So we go, we see, we touch, this is a product, it's tangible. But the service is when you are being served. You don't have something tangible in hand. For example, you go to the language center and you learn a language. Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, Russian, doesn't matter. So this is a service. Or when you travel, you stay in the hotel, so you receive the service in the hotel. Or when you go to the bank, you receive the banking service, actually. Or when you want to divorce and you can't, and you go to the lawyer and the lawyer helps you, so you get the service from the lawyer. Okay, actually, as a result, you don't have something tangible in hand. It's not like going to the market and buying a bar of chocolate. A bar of chocolate will be the product, so that's going to be the good, consumer good. But when you receive any service, going to the cafe, listening to music in the cafe, that's the service. Or when you go to the restaurant to eat something, that's the service. Okay, so we have consumer service, consumer goods, and producer goods. I hope that's clear. To summarize, I will repeat again with one sentence. I'll try to summarize. So consumer goods will be the ones that we have for immediate consumption, like burgers, cars, chocolate, etc., etc. But the producer goods will be the ones that we use for production purposes. Again, tools, equipment, machinery that we need during the production process. And the consumer service will be intangible, benefit that's intangible. Again, can be the banking service, hotel services, or learning a language, or getting some legal services, etc., etc. All right, so what are business inputs and factors of production? What are factors of production? Factors of production are the things that no business can exist without. So these four major concepts we will mention now in a minute. There is no business, there can be no business without one of these factors. If one of these factors lacks, then the business cannot simply exist. What are they? First, we will talk about land. Sometimes students say, Miss, how come we have some online platforms, we have online businesses, we don't need land anymore, it was decades ago, etc., etc. Well, yes, we can see Facebook or Instagram or Amazon. We consider them to be online businesses, but they do actually have their giant buildings, company buildings, where they have their employees sitting and working, right? So even if the business is online, they need some land. By land, we don't mean the soil, the ground only. If, depending on the business type, it can be the forest, it can be the river, lake, pool, etc. If you're going to produce fish and sell fish, of course, you need to have the lake or pool or river. So this is going to be considered as land. So even if you have, let's say you are a teacher and you have your online teaching business, you are teaching Japanese. So in this case, all you need is to have your laptop and teach it online, right? But you should sit somewhere, you should teach somewhere, right? Even if this small space, you need that space. You need that space to have your business, to teach. Or even if you are a designer and you sit somewhere and you work, the place where you work is the land. So you need to have that land, okay? All right, every business should be located somewhere. Without land, there is no business existing. Okay, what is labor? The second factor for production will be labor. Labor is not the physical labor only. It is all kinds of labor. It is time, it is energy, it is knowledge, it is skill, it's mental labor, physical labor as well. So when somebody hires you as an employee, they take your time, they take your energy, they take your knowledge. I mean, they benefit from your time, energy, knowledge, skills, mental, physical labor, etc., etc. They're like, Miss, sometimes, you just need to work as a guard, like you don't need to, use mental or physical labor. Even if you don't do anything, you sit in front of that building, they take your time. So this is labor. At the end of the day, you don't have that time. At the end of the day, you don't have that energy. Time equals energy. When they take your time, they take your energy as well. You come home tired, right? So this is labor. So when we say labor, we mean everything. We mean energy, we mean time, we mean knowledge, skills, mental and physical labor. What is capital? This is the third factor of production. First, land. Second, labor. Third, capital. Is money capital? Yes. Is money the factor of production? No. What is capital? Capital is everything or anything that you need to use during the production process. If you need to produce cars and you need a lot of tools, equipment, machinery, and giant building, they all are going to be your capital. If production is not about manufacturing only. Let's say when you write a book, you produce the book, or when you paint something, you produce. So to paint something, you need the brush, colors, and the canvas, right? So this is your capital. To write a book, let's say you need to have your laptop. This is your capital. Or you are going to write a poem, you need the paper and the pen, right? So this is going to be your capital. What is the role of money here? Why do we say money is the form of capital? If you have the capital, you can start production. If you don't have the capital, then money is the tool to get that capital. Let's say you have the brush, so you can start painting. If you don't have the brush, you can use money as a tool to buy that brush, to get that brush and colors and so on, okay? So money will be the form of capital, but capital will be the factor of production, because production is possible when you have capital. If you have money but you don't have the capital, you cannot produce anything. Let's say there is no brush, but you have a lot of money. If you don't have the brush, you cannot paint. But if you have the capital, you don't have money, you can still produce, okay? So that's why we consider capital to be the factor of production, but money not to be the factor of production, but to be the form of capital. All right, and the fourth last factor of production is going to be the enterprise. What is this? This is the individual who has the skill of taking risks, making smart business decisions, taking the initiative, starting the business, leading the business. It's like you have the car, you have everything you need in that car, but the car doesn't move. You have the land, you have labor, you have capital, but the driving force will be the driver. You need someone to drive that car. So that someone will be the fourth factor of production. Someone that can actually drive this business, run this business. That will be the enterprise. Okay, so when we say the driving force of business, we actually mean the fourth factor of production, enterprise. Again, we're going to go through all. We have four major factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Land is not only the land, the ground, it's everything that, depending on the business type, everything that we need. Can be the forest, can be the small lake or pool or river, or anything. Labor, again, will be physical, mental labor, knowledge, time, energy, skill, etc. Capital will be anything that we need to use during the production process: tools, equipment, machinery, and many, many other things. And enterprise will be the driving force of business, provided by the individuals who can take risks, who can make smart business decisions. All right, business functions and four major functional departments. Which departments do we have? Every business, it's a must for every business to have these four major departments. Can a business exist without these departments? No. Sometimes we have sole traders, and one of the students asked this question. That was a very nice question. When we say departments, we mean giant companies, like big companies. But sometimes sole traders do have their own businesses as well. What is a sole trader? This is someone who starts the business. Let's say you have your Instagram page and you sell shoes. You're a sole trader. You are doing it alone, but you can still employ some people, and you can give certain tasks for being completed by them. So if you are a sole trader, it doesn't mean that you don't have the departments. It means you are going to do the jobs of these departments, or you're going to hire some people that are going to provide the labor for these specific positions. What are these departments? Marketing department, department of finance, financial department, operational management, and the human resources department. So let's start with marketing department. What happens in the marketing department? Again, if this is a big company, here we have it as a department where we have maybe tens or hundreds of people working in that department. Not hundreds, maybe tens of people working in that department. But if you are working as a sole trader, then it means you are doing the job related to the marketing department, or you are doing all the jobs of all the departments, or you have hired people who can do the job for each department. All right, what is going to happen in the marketing department? What are the concerns? Everything that's related to branding, to pricing, to selling, to advertising the product will be the concerns of the marketing department. Why is it so important? Because we can have one business, one company can have many different departments, but these four are the major ones. We said without marketing department, no business can exist. What does that mean? If you have the car factory and you are making the best cars on the planet, if you don't market the cars, nobody will know that you have the best cars on the planet. You cannot simply sell them. So then what is the purpose of having these cars? So again, we said whatever is being produced, it's being produced for consumption. So when you produce a good, let's say the car, you want them to be sold. You want them to be used by other people. So you need to market that product. You need to inform the people that there is a good like this. So how to inform the people? Like when you start thinking about the channels that you are going to use to reach the consumers, the clients, the customers. Let's say you need to decide whether you're going to advertise it on TV, on the radio, or using social media platforms. You are going to advertise it on Facebook, on Instagram, or where can you find your clients, right? You're going to advertise it in the street maybe. So that's going to be the question of the marketing department, like the concern of the marketing department. Or pricing issue, how much should you charge for this good or service? Or which colors even are you going to use for your logo, or for this campaign or advertising, or for selling this product, etc., etc. So these are all the questions for the marketing department. All right, what about financial department? Do we need? Yes, of course. So every business exists for making profit. So you need to know the costs and the profits that you make. So you need to keep track of these payments. For that, we need to have a financial department. Human resources management, is it important? I would say among all, that is one of the important ones, if not the most important one. What makes this department so important? It's actually proven, but I personally believe as well that if you hire the right people for the right positions, you don't even need to do anything else for the success of the business. Most of the time businesses do fail because managers ask the singers to play football and the football players to sing. So it's weird when you have Jennifer Lopez, I don't know, playing football, or you have Messi singing. We need to have the HR department to find the right people for the right positions. Sometimes we hire great professionals, but we put them in the wrong positions in the company. So that makes the business fail. So we need to work on the skills and talents of the employees that we have already hired. If we see that the people are not capable, then we need to fire them. So actually, before hiring is much more important than firing people. You have to be twice more careful when you hire people. So the job of the HR department will be to decide which employees are needed, which personalities are needed, which people can adjust to the company culture, which people can be more beneficial for the company, to take the company to the next level, to the next stage, to make more profit in the future. So they will decide whom to hire, whom to fire, in which position, which employee can be more beneficial for the company. So these are going to be the concerns of the HR department, human resources management. There, the company, the HR department can provide certain courses, certain trainings for improving the skills and knowledge of the employees. Uh, I don't know who said, but there was a nice statement. That was the conversation between CFO, Chief Financial Officer, and CEO, Chief Executive Officer. Financial officer says, should we really invest in our employees? Like, what if we give them enough training and courses, we train them, we educate them, and then they leave us? And then CEO asks, what if we don't train them, we don't teach them, we don't improve their skills, and they stay? So that was a really nice conversation between them. So the businesses should focus actually on improving their employees' skills and talents. All right, what about the operations management? What happens in this department? Here we have the managers, administrators, all the executive job being done. We have in the operations management department. So the successful businesses will be successful because these four departments will co-function, cooperate, coordinate. They will work together. The success of each department will be important, but that they will reach that target when they all focus on the same goal. It's not like marketing department focuses on A, but the operations management department focuses on B. So they all need to have the same target, and they all need to focus on one and the same thing. Okay, what about the sectors of industry? Which sectors of industry do we have? We have four major sectors of industry: primary, the first; secondary, the second; tertiary, the third; and quaternary, the fourth. We'll start with the primary sector of industry. It's when we have the natural resources and we use them, we produce something using the natural resources. Let's say we have the cow and we sell milk. So this is the primary sector of industry. Or you have the garden of apples, so you sell apples, or you make fruit juice or something like this. So this is going to be the primary sector of industry. You take the natural resource and you produce something. The secondary sector of industry will be about manufacturing, industrialization. The countries that started industrialization first got the chance to finish it first to move to the tertiary, the third sector of industry. Industrialization is the secondary, deindustrialization is the tertiary sector of industry. To have deindustrialization, the country must go through industrialization first. So industrialization is about manufacturing. What is manufacturing? Textile can be the example. Producing everything, cars, I don't know, any sort of factory will be the example for the secondary sector of industry. Manufacturing again. Tertiary sector of industry will be deindustrialization, when industrialization finishes, and then we focus on some other services actually. So deindustrialization will be the sector of services. Again, the countries that started industrialization, the secondary sector of industry first, got the chance to move to the tertiary, the third sector of industry first as well. That's why the leaders of the previous world were actually the same countries that are the leaders of today's world as well. So today we are going through, some countries are going through the tertiary sector of industry, some have already moved to the quaternary sector of industry. What is that? So we'll be talking about that too. So the examples of the deindustrialization, we have the countries that will provide the best banking service, or the best education, the best hotel, the best tourism, the best, I don't know, cafes, restaurants, etc., etc. The countries where we can have the best experiences ever. So maybe United States, maybe United Kingdom, maybe Germany, etc., etc. So these are the countries that started industrialization first and then deindustrialization. So the leaders of the previous world were the countries that had the secondary sector of industry improved. So we call them developed countries. In today's world, we call the countries having tertiary sector of industry, services industry improved. We call these countries developed. But for the future, we will call the countries with the quaternary sector of industry. we will call them developed. Those countries are the countries that have improved IT, information technology services. For now, we will say IT and AI to be together, but actually in the future we will divide this category, and AI we will consider to be the fifth sector of industry. But for now, we will consider them to be the same in the quaternary sector of industry for a while. Okay, so industrialization was about manufacturing, and deindustrialization is about moving from the manufacturing to the business sector. That's it for today. We talked about the businesses, what a business is, then we talked about factors of production, 4 major functional departments, and 4 sectors of industry. Wish you good luck in your studies and see you in the next